I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're taking a look at a terrific children's book. It is called Billy the Bully from the AddyBee123 Book Collection. It's written by a wonderful author. Her name is Sharon Linen-Fordham. This touching story tackles the sensitive issue of bullying, highlighting themes of forgiveness and understanding, as well as friendship. Join us as we explore how Addy and her classmates transform a negative experience into a lesson of empathy and healing. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Great Writers Media for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. Sharon, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Thank you so much, Logan. Great to be here.
Great to have you on the show. Now, the AddyBee123 Book Collection is a number of books, right?
Yes, that's correct. It's a
Tell us
five
about how
book.
many books are in there and that kind of stuff.
There are currently 5 books in the series, and each tackle a different topic, which will help assist with the mental well-being and social development of children. It covers various topics, and each topic in my book is actually inspired by my own life's experiences as a child.
Okay. So the one we're talking about today primarily is Billy the
Is
Bully. So
Billy the Bully?
bullying is,
Yes.
what are some of the other issues that you tackle in your books?
Um, one of my other books is ABC Inspiration, and that is about low self-esteem, depression, self-confidence issues.
Mhm.
There is Teach Me Safe Touch, Don't Touch, and that teaches children boundaries, protect them against sexual predators. Um, My Place in the Sky actually focuses on teamwork and friendship, and also A Day with My Dad, which focuses on single parent households, not being able to, a child not being able to spend that quality time with a particular parent. And this particular book is a dad because I grew up without my biological father in my life. So
Well, it's
those
great
are,
you've taken all of those life experiences, some of them
yes.
negative, of course, but turn
Mhm.
them into something positive by
Yes,
helping other children deal with the issues that are issues that a lot of children have to deal with today, right?
absolutely. Yes,
Yeah. Let's
absolutely.
go over the story of Billy the Bully. Tell us what that book is about.
That book is about it's a small child, of course, Addie, who's the main character in the story, and she is being bullied by one of her classmates, of course, Billy. Well, Addie initially is uncomfortable or afraid to speak to her parents about it because, of course, like most kids, they feel as though it would make the situation work if they were to bring this to anyone's attention. However, later in the story, Addie and her friends were fortunate enough to actually find out the real reason why Billy is behaving the way that he is. An unforeseen incident occurred which revealed this, and with that knowledge, Addie and her friends, they decide to rally together to help Billy, who is actually a victim also. And the takeaway from my book, Billy the Bully, is I want people to understand that bullies are victims too.
Most people who are bullies are being bullied or were bullied because
Yes,
that's where they learn that behavior.
absolutely.
So I think that's great. Absolutely. What age range do you target your books towards?
Particularly, Billy the Bully is anywhere between 5 and 12 years old for this particular book that we're speaking of. ABC Inspirations, I know that's not the book of topic right now, but that particular book, you can read that book at the time of conception, I believe, because it's about self-concept. And we understand that what you think about, you bring about. You are only as far as you'll only go as far as what you think you can go. It's all in the mind. But the majority of the books they age from, with the exception of ABC Inspirations, anywhere between 5 and 12.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Have you had the opportunity to read any of the books to children yourself?
I have. Yes, I have had several opportunities with a few of the local schools here in Charleston. So, and I plan to do more of that. It's very important to me that children and as well as parents and teachers become aware of the titles that I've come up with.
And it's great for you to get the feedback from the children so you
And
can
it
kind of
is.
see what's working, what connects, what doesn't connect, and
Yes,
that kind of thing. That's for sure.
absolutely.
So what was the first book in the series of Addie B123?
It was actually My Place in the Sky was the very
Okay.
first book in the series. Like again, I said that book is about friendship and teamwork. During my childhood years, I had very little friends. I was shy, and like I said, being bullied. I was sort of an introvert. But that book is very important too. It's that particular book is a book of adventure. you know um it's about a little star that came down from heaven upon the wish of a child. And when she came down, of course, she began to lose her powers, her ability to hover, and if she didn't make it back to her home by a particular time, then her home would disappear and she'll vanish forever. So Addie and her friends, they come together and help to get her home before that time expired. So it's a very interesting, fun story.
Very imaginative. I think it would get a lot of children thinking like, wow, could we
Hmm.
really do this? I think it's really, really wonderful. And it was a good way for you to kick off the series as well. Have you envisioned these books as perhaps a TV series or a series of films?
Yes, yes, I'm really looking into that. I've considered that as a matter of fact, with great
Great writers?
great writers media. I believe that we will be discussing things like that in the future. I have actually received a few correspondences and inquiries as far as Billy the Bully, that is, getting that out there into film. So that would be very, very excited.
Oh,
Very
well, that'd be
exciting.
great. And it also
Yes,
would help you get to another audience because you have some kids that read and some kids that don't. It
right.
seems like they all are locked to screens, big and small nowadays. So
They are.
it would
Yes,
be good for that to be a series of videos for
that
sure.
would be
And
fascinating.
important because it's
Hmm.
informing kids as well.
It
So,
is.
okay, so the second book in the series is,
The second book is actually ABC Inspirations.
okay.
And that particular book not only teaches children their alphabet, but each letter represents a positive message. For instance, A is for anything. You can do anything that you want if you put your mind to it. The letter P is for perfect. You are perfectly created. Love. L is for love. B is for believe. And each has a particular word, an inspirational word, and also includes an inspirational, motivational message that helps to build self-esteem, self-confidence issues. I believe self-talk or self-concept, that's very, very important.
These are great self-affirmations,
Yes,
as well, which is
yes.
great for children.
That is
Uh,
actually how, I'm sorry, didn't mean
no,
to
go
interrupt.
ahead.
That is actually how I was able to get through what I went through as far as suffering from those things from a child to now an adult is self-talk, self-concept affirmations. So I know how important that is.
Absolutely. We all have scripts that are written in our heads by
Mhm.
our parents and friends and family members. And sometimes you have to rewrite those scripts in your
You
head.
do.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
because the voices in your head are wrong. You're not dumb or ugly or whatever,
That
because
is,
verbal abuse usually goes hand in hand. If you're being
it
physically
does.
abused, you can be verbally abused as well.
It
Eh,
does.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about the illustrations for the books. How do you go about getting
Um,
those done?
Actually, initially, my daughter,
Mhm.
Kiara Lennon, and hopefully she'll be watching this, hear her name mentioned. She actually inspired all of the illustrations in every book that we have. ABC Inspiration, she was the sole illustrator, and the other books, those illustrations were inspired by her original drawings.
Wonderful. Now,
Yeah.
how old is Kiara?
Kiara is now, she's almost 37 years old.
Amazing. Well, you look 37 yourself, so
Thank
that's
you.
amazing. Yeah, I could,
Thank
you,
you.
you could, you could have told me 7 years old, I would have believed it. So seriously, you don't know nowadays. You know what I say? You know you're getting older when you lie about your children's age. You no longer have to lie about your
Not
age.
you, Logan. No.
Uh, I've got a 34-year-old, so
Okay.
we all have to lie about. So I'll pretend he's 14 this week.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Awesome.
But that's great that you collaborated with your daughter. That's
Yes.
wonderful. So that must have been a real good bonding experience, right?
And it is. And she's so very, very talented. She's more of a behind the scenes person. That's why people tend to see me more in the forefront, but she's very, very crucial and critical to AddyBee123.
Wonderful. Tell me
Yes.
let's talk about the third book in the series.
Okay, we covered Billy
We
the
co-
Bully.
Billy the Bully's book
Billy
number
the
three.
Bully. And I actually have a copy of Billy the Bully
Billy the
right here.
Bully. And those are your
Yes.
daughter's drawings on the
She inspired
illustration.
these drawings.
Inspired
She
them.
inspired, yes,
Wonderful.
in the original drawings, and then we had someone else. We outsourced that particular one to
Basically,
have.
she came up with the prototypes and what characters
Absolutely,
look
yes,
like, and then the
every bit of
production
it.
company
Yes.
took care of the rest. Well,
Hmm.
that's great. That's
Yes.
terrific. So Billy the Bully, and what's after Billy the Bully?
We have a day with my dad. A
Okay.
day
And
with
let's
my
talk
dad.
about that book. Give us an overview.
Yes, and actually, Billy is in that book as well, and that's about a story. It's Addie. Her dad's a workaholic.
Mhm.
And so many of us can relate to that, where the parents are always at work and there's no time, there's no family work-life balance at all. And she's wanting to spend quality time with her dad, but he is so preoccupied with work. So Billy is actually they because in Billy the Bully, at the end, Addie and Billy actually became friends. So in A Day with My Dad, Billy actually appears in that story as well. And so he has a heart to heart talk with Addie, letting them know that, your dad is feeling this way. The reason he's doing these things, he's working so hard is because he loves you. And Addie learns a pretty good message. And Addie's mom speaks to her dad and lets him know that, hey, your daughter really needs you. So there's a meeting of the minds, and they have to compromise and come to a conclusion, the perfect medium for both, a perfect balance.
And again, that's a huge issue for children today because so many kids come from, broken homes or
Mhm.
divorced parents or single parent homes, and they got a curiosity about their dad. They might never have met their dad, or they only see their
Right,
dad on weekends. So
right.
I think helping children cope with those emotions are important, right?
It does, and it is very, very important. Like I said, the first 11 years of my life, I lived in a single family home. My mother was my mother and father until she was fortunate enough to marry my wonderful stepfather, which he is my father. I don't like using the word stepfather because
Right.
he's so awesome in my life, but I do understand the effects that it has not having a father in the home. So I want to help children to prevent them from going through or help them to understand or at least get through whatever they're dealing with in terms of single family homes or not having a parent around.
Absolutely. So Billy the Bully is the fourth book in the series?
Okay, where did we go?
Yeah,
Yes, Billy,
I
yes,
think
of
so. Right.
course.
So what is
Yes,
the fifth book in the series?
is Teach Me Safe Touch, Don't Touch. And that is a book that teaches children the right and wrong ways to be touched by anyone, particularly. It's a child friendly illustrations. It's very, very simple. But even though it is very simple for the child to read and understand, that book is actually designed for a responsible adult to read or go through that book with a child. It actually helps create open that those difficult dialogue, those
Exactly.
to have those open the door for those tough conversations.
Right.
So yes,
And so if you're afraid your child might have been abused, this is a perfect book to kind of open up that conversation, did he or she, whatever.
it is.
And the book will help forge what's a good touch, what's a bad touch.
Absolutely. And the thing is, what I learn is we always teach our children, watch out for strangers, don't talk to strangers. But the ones that they really need to be concerned with, sadly, are the ones that are closest to them because they trust those people. These people have access, sometimes 24 hours a day, access to these children. So it is very important to teach those kids. Some of them are abused so early on that they believe it's normal, that they
Exactly.
don't see anything wrong with it.
Exactly.
And therefore, they never discuss it with anyone because they never see anything wrong with it. But if we can reach those children early on with the book, would Teach Me Safe Touch, Don't Touch, or any other material out there that would help them distinguish and make a distinction between what's right and what's wrong.
Exactly. And you're so right that it's most likely going to be a father, a stepfather, a brother, an uncle, a teacher, somebody
Yes,
who's constantly in touch with the children who are
yes.
likely to be perpetrators. And actually, I've interviewed police detectives about this. By having your children too afraid of strangers is a problem because if they get into trouble, let's say they're about to be abducted or something, they'll be afraid to go up
To
to
ask
a
for
stranger
help.
and say, "This is not my daddy. This is not
That's
my
right.
mommy." Yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
So there's got to be some sort of balance there as well. You can't just say all strangers, you know.
exactly. Because most
Yes.
strangers are good.
Most
That's the
strangers are
thing.
good.
Yeah,
And if we stayed away from every stranger, we'll never have friends.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Do you have a sixth book coming in the series? Are you working on
I
anything new?
do.
Okay, I
I
figured
do.
that for some reason.
I do. It is entitled A New Baby Attitude. And
Okay,
Addy, it's not spelled attitude, it's spelled
right,
Addy. It's a character in the
right.
story. And there's a newcomer. She's a new sip. She's got a little sister coming along, and she's having a very difficult time dealing with the idea of having someone take her place, as the she was the
Only
lone
child.
child for
Yep.
quite some time, But that book actually teaches and help kids deal with newcomers in the family, deal with a new sibling, and understand that there's a balance, and mom and dad still love you. There's enough love to go around as well. So that's an
Wonderful.
exciting little book. Yes,
That sounds like an important book for anyone to get who's having a new arrival in the family to help
yes,
children understand because it really is such a, impactful moment for a child. They almost say it's like, mommy bringing home another daddy,
yes,
like how would daddy handle it? I mean, parents' love is being divided there, no matter how you
yes.
look at it.
No matter
Yeah.
how.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. So it's important. That's a great book.
yes. Thank you.
So any more in the planning?
Actually, I'm going to be venturing out out of the children's book genre for a little bit. I'm actually working on a novel, but that's more and there's something I'm testing. It's more drama, thriller, adult, if you
So what
will.
will be the theme of that novel? Tell us a little bit
Woo,
about that.
okay, well, that one is entitled. Oh God, what is it? I hate to give it away. I didn't know you were gonna ask about that too,
That's
but
okay.
it's called Keeper of the Soul.
Hmm.
It's Keeper of the Soul, and it is someone who was wrongly killed
Okay.
and has is coming back for revenge from the dead.
Wow.
Yes.
That sounds great. That
Yes,
sounds
it
like
is.
a movie for sure. That sounds like it's got Hollywood written all over it,
Yeah, thank you.
without a doubt. That sounds great. That sounds great. So,
Yeah.
was your first time writing, was it writing these Addy books? Is that your first time you tried
Yes.
your hand at writing?
Well, you know what? I did try my hand at writing, and it was not really writing. It was a collective effort. Um, I created a book years ago. It was called Think About It. The new title now is What's This Foolishness? Is what it's called. And it's just a book of silly thoughts, very, very funny thoughts. Um, that can be used in at parties. It's
Mhm.
just creates laughter. It's very, very hilarious. It actually received a 5-star review from readers' favorite. So that one is actually can actually be purchased on Amazon as well. It's
The
called
name of that book is
it is What's This Foolishness?
What's This
WTF.
Foolishness? Okay, sounds great.
Yes.
That sounds great. Well, we'll look for that one as well. So you obviously have a strong interest in children. Did your career outside of writing involve children?
Well, you know what? It did early on. Early
Mhm.
on, I worked with Charleston County Schools
Mhm.
for 9 years. Prior to that, I was in preschool education.
Mhm.
Um, but currently, I am with an automotive industry, Robert Bosch. I am a machinist
Wow.
right now. Yes. So, and I love it. I've been there for almost 20 years
So what
now.
do you do as a machinist? Do you have like a riveter? And I don't see you as a machinist. You don't look like a.
in Well, in my area, we chrome plate components for diesel and injectors.
All
Yes.
right. Wow.
Hmm.
Well, that's amazing. So that's a very disparate career path for you, from being a machinist to
Yes.
being an author. So
Yes.
you're
And I
fully using
actually
both.
I did the two simultaneously.
That's great.
I wrote while I worked.
That's great. That's great.
Yes.
Well, it's good that you're using both sides of your brain. That's for
Yes.
sure. Yeah. So in your Addy series, obviously you'll continue with Addy. Is Addy basically a little you? Do you view it as
Addie
yourself
is
as a
actually,
child?
she's actually my granddaughter.
Oh,
In
okay.
fact, yes, in fact, all of the characters in my story are names of my grandchildren. Currently have five
Wow.
grandchildren. Yes.
That's great.
And Addie her name is Adeline,
Hmm.
and Addie for short. So she's actually the main character. So that's where Addie B comes from.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Mhm.
Now, what was the turning point for you in your life? You said you dealt with a lot of the issues you discuss in the book. What do you feel was a turning point for you?
To be honest, those the experiences that I had and dealing with the social issues, they're still there, But like I said, self-talk,
Yeah.
self-concept affirmations every single day is what
Sure.
helps me to get through. I still second guess myself. Every decision I make actually stems from issues that I've dealt with in the past. So it follows you all throughout your life, from childhood into adulthood, which is the reason why I came up with the series to sort of help these children early on, and not let it linger for as long as mine has. But I've gotten so much better. I'm fine, but I still have to deal with those things every day because these it went on for years, you
Right.
know, and
Right.
it's so yes. So
Yeah, well, I
self-concept
think I think self-talk is such a healthy part of,
it is.
your mental development for
Mhm.
sure. And I think if you were actually to step into a lot of people's brains or a lot of people's skin, you'd realize that, everybody more or less has similar problems to greater
Yes.
or lesser degrees. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yes.
I mean, I think also growing up in the era where we grew up, our parents weren't as sensitive to the psyche of a child as we are
Absolutely.
now. I mean,
Absolutely.
we
I
were,
totally agree.
wow, if you
Yes.
one thing your parents didn't like, I mean, that's how I was raised. But and I certainly did the opposite with my own children.
Yes.
So it's a lot of it's generational, don't you think?
And I totally agree. It is generational.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with that. But
Since you've done so well with the self-talk and everything, have you thought about writing a book about, mental wellness and
I
coping as an
I
adult? Tell me about that a little bit.
actually my daughter is actually beginning that as we speak. It's
Oh,
it's so
great.
strange that yes. So she is going to be championing that particular project. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Wonderful. And so
Yes.
she's going to be writing a book?
Yes.
Okay.
She's going to be writing a book, and she's also going to be creating journals as
Okay.
well. Yes.
And is this Kira the one who did the
Yes,
illustrations for
Kiara.
you?
Yes,
Okay, well, Kira's a busy lady just like her
she is
mom.
too.
Okay,
Yes.
excellent, excellent. Well, the book we've been discussing here today is called Billy the Bully from the AddyBee123 Book Collection by Sharon Linen-Fordham. It is one of 5 books in the collection, and more are coming. And the touching story tackles the sensitive issue of bullying, highlighting themes of forgiveness and understanding as well as friendship. And Sharon has crafted these books to address a number of concerns for parents and children, to open up dialogues for an avenue of exploration for both the parent and the child to live a healthy, well-balanced life. Sharon, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you so much for having me, Logan. I appreciate that.
I
Thank you.
appreciate your time. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time until next time on Spotlight.